this shit's gonna be so hard. Oh my god. Yo, what up? Bicep day. I promised yesterday that we would try to go up on this specific exercise, the one that we are starting with today, and that is the seated preacher-ish curls. Basically, they work a similar movement to the preacher curl. You have a, your arm is stationary. Ooh. Stiff hip, Jesus. I've decided to dive deeper into fitness history in the past few days, and it is a wide, deep hole of a bunch of different people who use steroids. Like, the most famous people, none of them are people who could have gotten that big naturally, and that kind of sucks, okay? Let me know who your favorite confirmed natural bodybuilder is, whether they're still active or they were. Let me know. I don't know, obviously we have some influencers nowadays that if they aren't natural, it would be kind of concerning considering how long they've been exercising and weightlifting for. But with that all in consideration, I think it's still a little sad, Says something about society, yada yada, or whatever. Let's try this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. No idea, but that's why I'm gonna move it with ease. Ooh. Boom. Ah. 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 Oh, come on. Ah. 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 No. My arms were so close to being the same strength. What happened? I stopped prioritizing the single arm movements in isolation. I let my guard down. I thought genuinely that they had caught up to a point where I could start doing the two arm movements. Guess not. Down to 40 pounds. Man, that's stinky. I guess we'll just go back to what I was doing before I equalized my arms, which is a bunch of exercises where, we're just doing dumbbell, right? The two arms are separate. They're working separately. They have to have their own independent strength. We just don't push the right arm as hard as we push the left. Past failure, that is. The two arm movement definitely got me stronger because that right arm repped the 45 like it was the 35 a couple weeks ago, but it's still, somehow I worked it entirely unevenly. I can't trust myself. How do I explain this feeling? I don't know, disappointment probably? Yeah. I am a disgrace to my bloodline. But because we got 5 reps, including the 2 past failures on the left, we stop at 5 on the right. But see, they're not quite that far off, I guess. It was just that first set. I don't know, man. But 3 reps and 4 reps it's not a huge margin for error, but like, I did almost 4 reps on the 45 on the right. I couldn't even get a second on my left arm. That's weird. Something's not adding up there. I think I've just been having some weird days. Yesterday I couldn't even get my rep weight up, which was annoying, but also strangely confusing. Like, I just couldn't get that mind-muscle connection, I don't know. And now this. Maybe it's not my fault, but I mean, who else's fault is it gonna be? What I mean is, like, maybe I have some weird equilibrium thing that's going on. Maybe I'm eating strangely, which, no, I'm eating pretty normally. Maybe the noob gains are catching up to me. Probably not. That's not usually how that works. I don't know, man, but what I can say is that I'm not having a good time with it, but we're still gonna push through. We're not worried. We're not worried. See, I don't know, I just can't explain. That set was the exact same metrics. Time for one of my weaker movements, the hammer curls. Why is this a weaker movement? I don't know, I've always just had lackluster brachiali, I guess. Overall, I think I just blame my lack of enthusiasm for the movement. It doesn't really spark any kind of like enthusiasm, right? I don't go to the gym to do this movement, right? Which I guess is my fault. You should try to have excitement for every single movement equally, probably, but I'm both too excitable and too stuck in my ways, I guess. I don't know. I like the bench press. I like the curls. I like the pull-ups. I look forward to that. I don't sit in my bed at night and go, man, I just can't wait to do hammer curls. Childlike connection between like, oh, I do curls that directly interacts with one of the muscles I have to look at the most. So of course I'm gonna be more excited for that, but in reality, your biceps don't look that good unless you work on your brachialis, so nah, I don't care. That was relatively a normal set, but I want to talk about the way I did that. So I started the movement with doing both arms at the same time. It feels right, and I'm doing the same movement overall. It's just getting the arm up. But the reason I like to then move to single arm is just so I can get that squeeze, right? I can focus on one arm, and I can also see where my left arm is about to fall off. Because again, we're not trying to overwork the left or the right arm. We're actually kind of trying to let it lag behind a little bit because it's the leading arm. So basically I'm just trying to pay attention to where my left arm's falling off, because while you're doing this, you can't really tell, you know. It feels like one big movement. It feels like your whole body's kind of giving in. But then when you start doing that one arm, you can really tell, oh, my left arm's gonna give out on the next rep. If you're not worried about that, there's no reason to do it the way I'm doing it. You can just do both arms, or you can do one at a time, whatever works for you. They're a little different, but not in any way that really matters. Basically, I just use it there as a gauge to, on that last rep, notice that, oh yeah, left arm's giving out, time to stop. Yeah, man, there's no real reason to look forward to these. They hurt pretty bad, and, you know, the exhilaration isn't really there. It's not like, oh man, oh, I'm having so much fun. No, it's a necessary evil, right? Well, I mean, I guess it's not evil. Go to the gym, it's good for you, but you know what I mean. Playlist has kind of been lacking recently. I could use some song recommendations. War-y would be cool. Like a war song? Oh. I love stuff that sounds like, or feels like, what I would imagine a romanticized version of going to war feels like. That went just about as well as I was expecting it to. Not an exciting amount of reps, nor did I feel excitingly strong while doing it, but I can feel a nasty pump coming in, that's for sure. So now we're doing incline curls. These work if you do the right form, the inside of your bicep. The part that, everybody sees when you do a front double bi. It's integral that you work this at least once a week if you're, going for physique entirely. When it comes to actual strength, they'll get worked proportionally. But if you're like me and you're trying to edge your way into bodybuilding, then you got to work all the muscles. So nothing exciting. That's exercise. You can push yourself really hard on this one though and get to a point where you feel like lightheaded. So, just keep track of that. At least personally, I get that way. And yeah, just don't exhaust yourself to the point where you freaking fall over and look really stupid in public, because who could ever withstand such embarrassment? Damn, that feels heavy as hell. Holy shit. I realized like halfway through that set that the angle was wrong and I was basically just doing a preacher curl again. My bad. Oops. Waste of a set because I put energy into that and now I feel quite stupid. Am I gonna go down in weight to compensate for my idiocy? No. No, that would be the smart decision and I could never make that. I could never make a smart decision. That would be stupid. I wonder what my barbell bench press is. I've been wondering recently what I could realistically push with my dumbbell max being what it is. Because usually what it adds up being is what you can put in two hands plus like the bar, right? And then maybe 20 pounds to 40 pounds within there. So that means I would get somewhere around probably like 200 pounds, which is kind of insane. I don't believe that I could do that. I looked this up. I'm not just spitting out of my ass. I think that genuinely, that doesn't sound right. But I looked up a study and it was like, if you want to know where to start based on what you do, If you're above the 50-pound threshold, which we are, we're in the 75s now technically, then you can just add the bar. You can do the bar, right? It'll feel weightless almost if you're doing it by itself. So, but am I going to find out? No. We'll say that for a day when it'll be like actually entertaining to see me actually try to max it out. At this point, I think it would stop somewhere around 200 pounds, maybe even less, somewhere around the 180 margin, and that just wouldn't be that exciting, so we're gonna wait. Because once I can do like the 100-pound dumbbells in each hand, that's when it's like, oh, I wonder what I could do. Because this is insane already by itself. What could I do? My biceps are feeling tight though. Yeah, I think that's good enough for biceps for the day. They don't have the exact bar I like to use a lot of the time, but they do have a very similar one. So, there we go. Hopefully this will do the job. It's a little heavier than the other bar, meaning that, I don't know, we can probably do somewhere around the same weight. But it's fine. Don't worry about it. So, the form I've been doing on this, did some research on it. Basically, it's great. I was kind of just dicking around and being like, oh, well, this feels right. I can feel this pretty good. Apparently, legendary exercise. It's a little newer. Most people they would just do a row, seated straight up. But what I do is I lean back and I just do kind of like a barbell row, but on this. And you're able to be more stable, steady, all of that stuff. Basically and also people are starting to do RDLs on the wire machine, right? Where you do a hip hinge RDL on this. Basically overall, when it comes to the back exercises, stability it's really good. I don't care, I'm still gonna do pull-ups, but I digress. Apparently I was doing the right exercise for the muscles I'm trying to hit. If not the best, one of the best. So, would recommend. we saw the pump last time. The freaking, like, my traps were just bulging out of my back. It was insane. So yeah, this bar feels crazy. The grit is gritty. Why do attachments keeps like just going to places and not coming back? I don't know. Yeah, why do a trap targeting movement when you can do a movement that works your traps and other muscles too very well? I don't know. I don't think there's a reasonable answer to contradict that. And I always hated shrugs anyways, in an irrational way. Like, not because there's any reason for me to do it, but because it just, like, it felt like cheating, right? I like moving heavy weight as much as the next guy, but, like, when I was smaller, and I'm still pretty small, but, you know, a lot smaller, it was like, oh, just pick up your body weight and start shrugging. It's easy. Why? Why is this easy? And that's what I mean by, like, an irrational fear. I should enjoy that, right? But I don't know. It just felt too easy. I hated it. Why? Why am I saying something like this? Well, I don't know. I think that there's probably science to back this up or to disprove it. I haven't looked. This is just something I've been thinking about in my own head while surfing the internet or whatever. But, like, do you have the energy? Does one person have the energy to optimally work out all of the muscles in your body in one day? One, probably not. Two, what is even the point of doing that? You know, you should be targeting sections, if not entire muscles, right? It depends on what your goal is, obviously. If you're trying to do it, get into like cross country or whatever, right? It depends. There's obviously different regimens for different people, but when it comes to bodybuilding or just overall whatever, right? Exercising, getting bigger, getting stronger, doesn't it just make more sense to not, like, to try and do as much of an opposite of a full body split as you can? Because I'm imagining going as hard as I do, personally, on each individual day, and then trying to do all three of those in one, that seems like a waste of time. Gross. I do not like this bar. It's the best I've got, but I do not like it at all. It's sucking all the moisture out of my skin somehow, even though it's a metal bar. Yeah, I don't like this bar. I don't know. I have a thing with textures, and not in like a non-neurotypical way. I'm not saying that. Basically, I don't like it, and that cuts into my concentration even the littlest bit, and I feel like I'm losing out on strength or a focus. Not doing this bar again, that's for sure. Too lazy to switch it. Just lazy enough not to switch it. One, because I don't know where the other bar is and I'm not going to go looking for it, but also just because, like, tough it out, don't be a little baby kind of thing, but just wanted you guys to know. And also, you know, I just talk about what comes into my head. These attachments are sadly 2 different lengths, but I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. Gotta make do with what you can find, right? This is the last exercise of the day. We usually top out at around 5 or 6 different movements. This one, though, we decided to go up on weight last back day, 3 days ago. I'm gonna try it out again today and see if it feels correct. Should be fine, because again, we don't ever start with this, so the fatigue we have accrued throughout the day shouldn't affect it that much. Overall, if my shoulders start hurting, that's the only reason I'm gonna go down. Yeah, that is reaching leg day levels of fatigue there. Heart is racing, that's for sure. Oh my God. I've been upping the daily protein intake while trying to keep the daily caloric intake still on like a small deficit, because I still have a little bit of like fat I'm trying to lose. But I took some advice on my what I eat in a day and upped the protein amount that I was eating. I weigh about 135 and I'm eating about 175 grams of protein a day, give or take. Probably a little less than that, because I feel like once you get to that point, it might be unhealthy. I'm just eating as much protein-dense food as I can possibly jam in a day, while not overeating, you know, not putting a bunch of calories in me that are needless, right? I'm obviously not eating like, I'm obviously not eating just, you know, chicken, beef, rice. I still eat, you know, I still have my I like sauce on things, and usually that's extra calories unless it's like yellow mustard, which I can't just always eat yellow mustard. It's not my thing. I like it, but not like that, right? I'm a ranch, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, all of the good stuff, right? So I fit that into my diet. But no, I found like these protein waffles that are really good for the morning. I always put extra protein into my yogurt, all that good stuff. Just trying to figure out realistically how much protein I could cram in one day, still on a budget. And it's a lot. What the fuck, dude? Why is this weight so easy? I don't want to have to go up again, man. This does not go up in 5-pound increments. It goes up in 7s. No, I'll be fine. I think next back day we could realistically go up on this because my shoulders aren't hurting at all. It's really nice, actually. We're up at 57.5 right now, and we're repping it out pretty sustainably through 3 sets. I think it's time to go up next back day. If I had to take a guess, my back genetics are where I'm excelling above the average guy. Because, man, my back is pretty strong. Or at least it grows really fast in comparison to my other muscle groups. It really just does not slow down. It never has. Like, even in high school, I remember this one instance. Obviously nowadays it's not even that cool, but like back in high school, pull-ups are cool, right? If you can do consecutively a lot of pull-ups, it's pretty cool. And I remember in like weight class, the teacher was like, hey, can you demonstrate some pull-ups? And I was like, oh, it's my moment. Ooh, it's my moment. I was never the kid in sports, you know. I wasn't the peaked in high school type. I wasn't in any clubs. I wasn't in anything. I did one musical and I didn't even have a cool role or anything, you know. That was my moment for people to be like, oh, this guy exists, right? And I did like 20 in a row just because I felt like I wanted to show off, you know. Back then, when you're in high school, you care a lot about what people think about you. So I was like, yeah, this is my moment. And everybody was like, oh my God, wow, overreacting probably, but like, they were like, whoa, he's not stopping, what the hell? And then from then on, everybody, and this is, I think, where my love of like helping people in the gym came from, is because everybody was like, oh my God, can you teach me how you got to that point? How do you do pull-ups? What's your technique? I honestly shouldn't have been teaching anybody anything back then, because like I didn't even know the half of it. I just knew I trained probably much longer than the people in that weight training class did. But I could do pull-ups, whether they were good form or not. The teacher said they were good form though, so I don't remember. I couldn't tell you, but I've always been able to do a lot of back-focused exercises, and pretty well a lot of the time. So yeah, let's round this out with one more set and get to the best part of the exercise, the flexing. Whoa, those arm veins are getting pretty big though. No bucket today, but you know what time it is? It's flexing room time, and I'm gonna try a new angle that I've been thinking about. Oh yeah, that downwards angle, let's go. Oh my God, what the hell? The back's looking kind of insane, dude. I'm not even gonna fib. I'm a little excited about the back. The biceps though, it is bicep day. They're looking pretty good. If I can do a lat spread. Can I? Maybe a little bit. Maybe there it is. Ooh, kind of. Is that it? Did I do it? Guys, tell me if I did it. Oh, that was hard to hold. Oh my God. I can't wait for it to not be summer anymore, so my camera stops overheating. Despite the first hiccup at the beginning of the exercise of realizing that maybe doing two-handed bicep exercises just isn't for me, everything went swell. So good, I swelled. See what I did there? In a good way, obviously. I'm talking about the muscles growing in their respective directions, obviously. But thank you so much for being here. Every last one of you. Appreciate you for being here. Your question of the day is, what post-workout snack is your favorite? Me personally, I like a good couple club crackers. I don't know, I grew up on them, you know. It's like that meme of the a little something to take the edge off, and it's just a club cracker. Anyways, thanks for being here, everybody. Love y'all. Thanks for showing up. To see you tomorrow for leg day. It'll we're hopefully gonna go up on weight. Depends on me, obviously. So if you want to see me hit that, let's see you there tomorrow. If you get me to that 1,000 subs, well, we're very close. I have, again, I'm saying it every day. I know, it's annoying. It's annoying. But for all the people who haven't heard yet, a new series coming out once I hit 1,000 subs. So let's see it. Bye, y'all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.